Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council. One of the things that we've been really excited about coming up real soon, it's so excited that I actually mentioned it on the radio the other day, and I had 2 people come in the door before I was even ready to show it off. And that was an upcoming quilt exhibit. We've got these fabulous quilts all around us today, but this is not all of them. This is Susan Sweet. You're
Hello.
with the Quilt Guild.
Mountain Laurel Quilt Guild.
Okay, I wanted you to say it so it would be
Yes.
right. Now, describe the Mountain Laurel Quilt Guild.
The Mountain Laurel Quilt Guild was founded in 1987. At this point in time, we have about 35 members. We meet once a month, the first Thursday of each month, over at the Senior Center off of Poplar Avenue.
Okay, in town.
In Boone. And we have programs every month. We learn new techniques, so we have speakers come in from outside, and sometimes we have workshops and a lot of good fellowship and a learning experience. We have people who've never quilted before that come in.
That's great. Good to know that people can do that.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we have very experienced quilters, and we help each other, and we learn as we go.
And anybody can come get
Anybody
involved.
can come in and just have a good time.
Now, it is at the Senior Center, though, so is it
No.
limited to senior adults?
It is not. We have young adults. We welcome all ages.
Good.
And we find out we get new ideas from different age categories too.
I'll bet you do.
So it works
I'll
out
bet
well.
the styles and
And
concepts,
colors, and
yes,
they keep us up with what the latest trends are.
Yeah.
So it works out well.
Neat. Now, we've been a long time since we've done an exhibit with you folks, and I'm really
We
excited
have.
about it.
And
Yeah.
this is our first time that we've done this as a guild. We've all worked on the individual quilts, and
okay.
they're for sale.
Okay, now, how many people are in the guild first?
About 35.
Okay, and how many are going to be, I know you said we're going to have 13 quilts.
13 quilts.
Okay, so that's 13 people? Or
Oh,
are some of these
no.
group efforts?
They're all group efforts.
Really?
There's no individual quilt here. Some of our quilts have had 10 or 12 different hands working on it, either cutting or designing or sewing or doing the handwork to finish them up.
That's kind of the concept of quilts.
It is. It's a
You know,
community event.
It is. It is. Quilts are not usually a one-person show.
No,
they're
not
usually
usually.
a group activity. Yeah.
And this way, it was a good time for fellowship. We got together, called a quilting bee, and we got together and just let our imagination go wild. We have 13 completely different quilts, each one unique and a different style. So
Wow.
when you come to see the exhibit, you'll see a vast array of different type quilts.
That is neat. Yeah, when I was a child, my neighbor used to set up a big frame in her dining room.
Yes.
And it was an event, you know. And it was
Right.
kind of the equivalent of the barn raising that the men would get together and
Yes.
do, and the women would do the quilting bees, you know, and it was really kind of cool. You know, it harkens back many generations, I'm sure.
It
you know.
does. There's so many traditions from America, and we've used those traditions in our quilts. For instance, this is homespun fabric that was used in North
Let's look at this
Carolina.
one. This is full of these wonderful candles.
Yes. This is called Mountain Glow. It's the softest, most wonderful quilt, and we made pillows, a couple of pillows, to go with it that are also quilted.
That's perfect. So you have a whole bed set, really.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And then this particular quilt is made from reproductions from 1930 feed sacks, when people got their feed in for their cows and their chickens, and they used the feed sacks for clothing and quilts.
But you know, this is feed sacks with a modern twist.
Yes, it is. They are reproductions. They're not real feed
Yeah,
sacks.
this is not my grandma's feed
No,
sacks.
it's not.
Okay, now also this a cool touch to these. You have these three-dimensional flowers.
Right, they're called yo-yos in quilting, and we sat down together and just did hand stitching and made yo-yos all one day.
And you've got button
Yes.
centerpieces for them. Yeah.
Little embellishments there.
That is really neat. And this is very springy.
Very,
fresh
it's called
feeling.
Appalachian Spring.
Oh, well, no
You
wonder.
were very good, very good at figuring this
And I
out.
told you that my all-time favorite is the other one
This
beside
one,
you.
we're calling this one Art in the Park.
No wonder I like it.
And it's the most unique quilt you've ever seen. Everything is completely different. Each of our members made squares that we've used in different quilts, and these were just odd squares that we decided were so artistic we would just put them all together and arrange them and call it art in the park.
Now, let me ask you, I got some common fabric moving around. Was this part of the idea?
Well, this is something that we do too. If one of our quilters passes away, quite often their family will call the guild and we'll pick up unfinished projects and fabrics that they have. Right. And a couple of years ago, one of our members, Mildred Rushing, died. And the ones that you see that are similar, those were donated to us from her stash. We call it stash.
Now,
Now,
they do provide the theme for this.
yes,
whole quilt.
we just kind of worked in with that.
Now, did these individual squares, if you looked at them, could you tell me the personality or the individual that did each one? You know,
I could
by
not.
look? Okay.
And that was fun because I told people just turn in your unfinished squares. And we just had a stack of them. We've used in a number of different quilts. And I didn't, you know, when they just all got put together, you don't know whose is whose. And it's so much fun when someone comes in to work on a quilt and says, "That's my square, I did that."
And you didn't know they were the one that did that?
No.
How interesting, because in paintings, a lot of times I can tell if I know the artist
Who did
what, but you can't in these.
There's another quilt like this behind you called the 4th of July Parade that is made up of a lot of different squares that members turned in.
Let's look at this one. These are big. There's no doubt about that.
And these are touchable quilts. These are not. You can come in and pick them up and move them around and look at them.
And nobody's going to yell and scream.
Oh, here's the top.
Okay.
Here's our little people on parade up here.
Oh,
This is all 4th of July fabric, red, whites, and blues.
How cool.
It was just a fun project to work on.
I love this.
And it's quilted with stars and oak leaf vines.
Now, you can't see it as easily from where you are, but there literally are just quilted stars, shapes of stars here, and shapes of vines. I love this. Yes.
Is this fun?
This is neat. And then now, is this machine quilted or hand
This
quilted?
is machine quilted.
Okay.
We do.
Becoming the
It
norm
is.
now.
It is. In fact, in quilt shows now, you have more machine quilted than you do hand quilted.
Well, one of my student workers is a quilter, and she was commenting that the hand quilted ones are more fragile and harder to take care of.
And you have to worry about pulling on them. But we do have, there is one quilt in our show that is completely hand quilted.
Wow.
So you will get to see what
And
the
compare
difference
that.
of
Yes.
it.
That is a neat thing. I'm glad you're doing that. So, okay, now we've got this wonderful, seasons are just all over this place. Yeah.
And we have one more to show you over here.
I start to say, speaking of seasons, now this one is obviously winter or Christmas.
Well, this one is called the High Country Christmas Tree Farm.
Wonderful.
And it's backed with homespun fabrics. It gives it a very soft feel to the back of it. Cozy. And this was fun because each of the members, we gave them a piece of this fabric and a pattern for this tree, and we said, take it home and play with it and make a tree.
And all of them are different.
And they brought them back in, and we put them all together and made a reversible quilt. And it's called the High Country Christmas Tree Farm.
That is so cool. Is that have the exact same pattern?
Same pattern, but every tree is different.
Totally different interpretations.
Just like it would be in a forest. Every tree is different.
That is so neat. What a cool quilt.
Isn't that fun? And there is one more here that's just a fun quilt. This is a
one
little
is everything.
Novelty quilt. This one is called Farmer's Market.
Look at this. And talk about more colors now. This is
Yes,
intense.
this is very bright. Now, one I don't have here is called All Things Bright and Beautiful, and it is brighter and more colorful than this quilt, if you can imagine anything being brighter than this. So a lot of the calico colors in it. And we have a lot of quilts that are not here. We have 13 total. Some of them that are not here are larger and more involved, and people are still doing last-minute handwork on them.
Oh, my goodness.
So you're going to have to come by the Arts Council to see the others.
That's right. We are so excited to have this show. I just think this is going to be one of the best ever, you know, and so
we
I'm
hope
really excited.
I would like to tell you one more thing. We're dedicating this show. We're calling it In Maggie's Memory.
Oh.
One of our dedicated quilters, Maggie Harmon, passed away this last year. And her husband, Joe, called us and asked us to come pick up her fabrics and her unfinished projects. And we have a lot of these quilts have been using Maggie's fabrics in them.
Oh,
and
neat.
we have one called Maggie's Cottage Garden quilt. And we just have been having a good time talking about Maggie and knowing that she's watching over us and that she would just love what's going on with
That's
this.
so neat. What a great tribute to someone.
I hope so.
I'm very impressed. Now, these quilts are for sale.
All quilts are for sale.
And let's tell about what happens with that, because you said it's a group
Right.
effort. So
It
who
is a
gets
group
to
effort.
pocket the money?
The Quilt Guild gets the money, and we use it. The Quilt Guild does donation quilts. We make quilts all through the year that in December we distribute to hospitals, to Meals on Wheels, to hospice. Last year we donated over 50 quilts in Watauga County to be used for new babies or invalids. We do some that are the size for wheelchairs. And so
great.
a lot of this money will be going to buy fabrics that we use, and fabric has gotten expensive.
Oh, yes. And harder to find.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And we're also are using some of the money to bring in speakers this summer for special programs for our guild meetings.
That's great.
So if anyone would like to join the guild, this is a perfect time to do it.
Now, can they visit the guild?
Yes, the first Thursday of every month at 1 o'clock over at the Senior Center upstairs in the conference room.
That's so neat. I'm
It
so glad
is.
you're doing this. Now, tell me, how do they get more information about the Quilt Guild?
There will be a contact sheet in a brochure that we will leave at the Arts Council.
Okay. Okay.
We have a website. They can go to the Mountain Laurel Quilt Guild, and there'll be contact information on the website.
That's great. And of course, we'll have information.
Yes.
You know, and linking over to you guys as well. So,
Yes.
you know.
And
that
you
is
can
so
just
great.
show up at our meetings and try us out.
How
Come and
fantastic.
come and visit.
That is one. Now, one thing I was going to say about quilts is it's a big project. It's a large
It is a
piece.
big project.
And so, but a lot of this work is something that's done in small scale and then incorporated into a bigger piece.
Right.
So do you carry it around with you a lot?
At times, when you get to that point where you have to do some handwork, quite often you'll take it around. Or something like making the little
Right,
yo-yos.
exactly, pieces.
Then you can keep that in your purse, and as you're sitting at the doctor's office waiting, you can pull things out and play
Do a
with them
little
that
bit.
way.
Yeah.
Right.
I one time got ambitious and was going to do, you know, the stitching that you had that had the stars and the
Yes.
vine. I was going to do, I've forgotten what that's called, but I was going to just do a piece that was purely that, you know, and just doing a stitching design. I got about a third of the way through. Never did quite finish it.
A lot of time involved.
It really
well,
is.
we've had such a good time with these. We originally started out, we were going to do 8 quilts for the show. And we had so many quilters show up to help. And we kept having new ideas, and people would say, well, let's try doing a farmer's market. And so the next week, everybody would bring in fabrics, and we would see what went together, and it just kept growing and growing. So
the
it
farmer's
did.
market and everything else grew.
Yes. So we ended up with 13 quilts, and we're very thrilled at
We're so excited.
did that.
Now, this is going to be on display the entire month of March. The show actually will be hung on the 25th. So by the 26th, you'll be able to start coming in and see it, get a preview, a sneak preview. The actual opening will be on March the 1st, which is the first Friday of the month. And we will be open from 5:30 to 7:30, and of course we'll have light refreshments and so forth for you to come in and enjoy. But most importantly, a chance to come in and see them up close and talk to the ladies that have done this
Yes.
and get really acquainted with it. And I say ladies, but this is not only a ladies' craft. I've known
No.
men who quilted and did beautiful work. you
In
know.
the past, we have had some men in our guild. Right at this point, we don't have any men,
Right.
but we would welcome them. They're welcome to come.
We could have a men's quilt guild.
We could do that.
You just never know. So,
When you read the quilting magazines, you always see men in there that have done beautiful work.
well, you know, sewing machines are tools.
They are,
Yes.
and creative. It used to be that the women would sketch out a quilt they wanted to do, and they would hand it to their husband, and the husband would graft it off for them.
Really?
And he would do all of the math, and
Huh.
then hand the pattern back to the wife to make.
Who would then take it from there
Yes.
and do the
Yes.
ladies' work.
Yes, the ladies' work.
Oh, interesting. Times have changed.
Yes.
Okay, well, I know you want to come and check out this exhibit. Let me tell you when you can definitely see it and when you can probably see it. The definite times are every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You may see it from noon to 6 on Friday and Saturday, and from 2 to 5 on Sunday. That's when our volunteers are staffing our gallery. Now, we have a staff, though, of me and 3 other workers, and we come and go a lot, and we're there a lot, and because our office is located in the gallery and gift shop space. And so therefore, whenever we're there, the doors are unlocked, and you are very welcome to come in and enjoy the quilts and everything else we've got in there, which is an enormous, wonderful array of work. And so I encourage you to come on by. If you're making a special trip and you want to make sure that we're going to be there, I suggest you call us, 264-1789, and just say, hey, are you there? I'm coming in. And it's not a big deal at all, and sometimes we'll even stay a little bit later if we possibly can.
Do you know where you're located?
Yes, I do know where we're located.
Do you know where you're located?
You know,
some people have asked me.
The building, now for the old timers, is the old AMP. I know that some folks are going to go, oh, I know where that is. Then other folks are going to go, oh, that's where social services used to be.
Oh.
It's the building on the corner of Water Street and King Street. It's called the Green Building. It's the building where Palucci's is located. It's 783 West King Street. On one side of us is Murphy's, on the other side is Mellow Mushroom. There's a big parking lot in front of us. It's the space where High Country Bank used to be. Now, if you don't get from that, I don't know what's going to help you. But if you can't find us, call us. We'll get you here. And we'll make sure that you can find the quilts and find the work. And also don't forget that the gift shop is full of all kinds of treasures, too, that you can take and purchase a gift for someone or for yourself or whatever. So there's lots of opportunities. Please join us, and don't forget the reception on the 1st from 5:30 to 7:30.
Right.
But the quilts will be there all through March. And our website is watauga-arts.org. You'll find information about this and a lot more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.